Hey everybody, how you doing? Sorry it took me, 5 minutes with my technical difficulties. I moved my office around a little bit. But anyway, I'm here. I hope you're here and I look forward to seeing you either here or in the replay, whichever. I'm just happy to be here talking because I love to talk. Anyway, today, thank you. Just thank you for showing up. Thank you for your comments. The private messages and the readings have been phenomenal the last week. So, really excited. And today we're talking about happy surprises, happy accidents. What does that mean, right? It's different than like the synchronistic messages you get when you're like thinking of something and you're in the car and you turn on the stereo in the car, excuse me, and like voila, the answer to your question is in a song that comes on, right? Spontaneously, the synchronicities. It's different than that. A happy accident is unexpected, unplanned. Yeah. And most spiritual awakenings, in my experience and knowledge, comes from happy accidents. It's when we take the risks and move through disconnects, so we think. As the path unfolds, when we are doing our inner work and connecting, which I call aligning the divine within and without, we get to see the gifts. Usually the awakenings are big gifts and very clear of a change in pathway or a change in lifestyle, a change in job, a change in relationship status, all of that. So let me get this out of the way here. Okay. So if you're here, give me a hello, give me a wave, give me a hi, let me know where you're calling in from or, tuning in from. And even if you're on the replay, most of my peeps show up on the replay for whatever reason. But it's cool. I like it. So, okay. I wasn't always a coach. I wasn't always who I am now. Neither were you, right? You are different than who you are. And for me, when I was young, I was looking to move up the ladder towards success, right? Like most of us have some kind of plan to fulfill, right? So I was young, looking to elevate my career. I wasn't even doing readings at the time, in public anyway. I was doing them for myself or for my friends, playing around, that kind of thing. Take a drink of water. So I want you to think for a moment or remember. And when I say the words happy accident, happy surprise, what comes to mind? What flashes into your thoughts or vision or feeling in your body? Drop me one word, a couple, if you want, in the comments below. Let me know if you are relating so far to this. Happy accidents. So my biggest happy accident happened when I was probably about, I don't even remember, counting, 26 maybe. it really was evident in retrospect, because I didn't know what I know now, or even what I knew 6 months later after it, but it launched my divine alignment. It launched my awareness of more, of my spiritual awakening to more, that there's more out there, which I had always known, having 5 planets in Aquarius, 5 planets in Pisces, and almost a double Aquarius. I've always known there was more. I've always known the other worlds, but I didn't even know to call it that. And I was this banker in the Bay Area, small local bank, deadhead, getting into this kind of work was fun, right? It was something new and different. It was a little credit card department at the small local bank. Jumping ahead a little bit, my husband and I wound up going different ways after a while, and I was invited by somebody in this small department, a head of the department. I was invited to escalate my career and move to Vegas with them to really start and launch a huge credit card company in the desert, right? It's still there. And I would be an assistant vice president to start, manage a data processing department, and it was stressful, especially because I had never experienced anything like that, and also really going through the ego and success, emotional, mental, and physical changes. Upgrades in some places, big transformations. Okay, that's natural, moving from, the coast to the desert, leaving a marriage, all of that. Big job, big responsibility. I did well. And being the natural sleuth that I am, I uncovered some shenanigans in the accounting, and I found some of those no-nos that the upper echelon in the company were doing. I didn't know who, and so I went to my mentor and the leader who brought me down there to start the company with them, and I reported what I found. Well, the next day I got to work, and I was met by the board of directors. I was escorted to the boardroom, lectured to, and fired. I didn't even know why. That's how naive I was at the time. I was very green in the workings of the corporate ladder. Yeah, I wound up not finding out till years later, but I kind of suspected. But the one I went to, my mentor, and reported what I found to, was part of the ones doing the shenanigans. So, awakening right there, but I didn't even know that was an awakening. There's so much more. I'm going to try to keep this a little bit more short, because it's such a great story for me, and I want you to relate the unexpected surprise that keeps showing up once you open it. It's like Pandora's box, okay? So I was escorted out of the building, fired. He wasn't even present there at the time. But I wound up having to move out of my luxury apartment, away from the city, away from the success lifestyle that I had grown to like, and wound up out in the desert. Short-lived success. I wound up meeting wonderful people, neighbors. We were few. There were very few of us living out there in our little dwellings, but it was cute. I got close to the desert and coyotes. And that opened me up. But I was lonely, jobless at the time for a little bit longer. And a friend of mine came from the Bay Area, a good friend of mine. She came down to visit me because she knew I was lonely and sad and lost, didn't know what to do. She came down and visited me. It was the winter solstice gale, and I am forever grateful for her for doing that. And so another awakening in the importance of sisterhood and friends, real friendship and inner circle. And we wound up just going for a drive, right? I had bought a new car, of course, when I got down there, this little Saturn. And we're driving away from Vegas. It's winter solstice, so it got dark early. We're out in the middle of the desert on the freeway, it was a road, and out past Area 51. So we just kept driving, and we came across this little fire we saw out in the distance. It was like this big. And we just looked at each other and we're like, should we go? Should we try and see what's up? And there was a fire road. Still, had to take it slow in my Saturn. And we go on this road through the desert, all the way out, and we come to this clearing. There's several cars parked there, like 10. And we're greeted by some robed beings, dark robes, so happy, so friendly, greeting us, because at first we were scared. We were like, where are we? What are we doing? And we wound up being at this amazing goddess temple out in the middle of the desert with a witch coven. And I had been reading up on witches and paganism and things like that, but totally green, totally new. And here I am at a winter solstice ceremony at a temple in the middle of the desert with a witch coven. And it was amazing what I learned, right? I learned so much that day, and the desert and the goddess. I learned about the sacred of the land, the sacred of community, the sacred of timelines. The next day, anyway, one of the witches gave me her card and told me to come visit her. She did readings, tarot readings, at a local crystal shop bookstore, a big one in Vegas. I think there's one in LA too, or there was. And got a reading from her, and whoa, oh my gosh, almost 30 years later, things are still unfolding of what was shown to me that day, that whole weekend. And I didn't know what it all meant then. But talk about happy surprises, right? Getting fired, the desert, the land, the coyotes talking to me, the witch coven, my sister coming to visit. All of that linked to this awakening that I'm still riding today. It's what I do. And so this was the beginning. So that's why I call it my biggest happy surprise. I also met, about a week later, driving down the road. My girlfriend went back home. And I'm just driving around town because I have nothing to do. And still the reading is sitting with me. And I come across a sign, and I cannot remember the name of the convention. There was one in San Francisco that I went to. There was one in LA. I know they did it there. And they did it in Las Vegas. And I'm going to look it up. I'll find it. But it was this big deal, like New Age something. And I'm like, I'm going to go. So I went. And I wound up being open to so many things, including meeting my life success coach that I had for the next 3 years. I was also, his partner introduced me to the Course in Miracles. And for the next 6 months, I was doing some deep inner work and connection and move ahead, right? I get offered a job back in the Bay Area, assistant vice president there, small local community bank, and they moved me back, paid for my expenses. I got an apartment back in Marin, and here I am on a new level back where I started, right? With my new life. But I'm so different. I'm no longer married. I am not a, big wig. But I was on my path. And the divine alignment that I found within is what helped the happy surprise actually manifest, or manifest actually, because I call it actualization now. So for these times, right, I touched on it I talked about it last week. The energy updates, right? This whole year is about quantum leaps, taking risks, the unexpected, in the mystery, right? Allowing for the happy surprises, having faith that the happy accidents are happening. Things are not as they seem. That's the biggest coyote medicine, right? Things are not as they seem. The trickster energy. It's about having fun, lightening up. Don't take things so seriously. And that's where the happy surprises and the happy accidents can be life-changing. Now we can look forward to them. Yeah, we're supported this year in this happy right? But it does take our courage to take the risk and say yes and go with it. Go with what is showing up and trust in it. Now, I'm not saying to love being fired from your job. What I'm saying is look what comes from it when you're appreciating where you are and when you're connecting, right? Divine alignment. In basic, divine alignment is through your body, the cosmos, the earth. Connect. Heaven on earth happens through us. We are the divine alignment. It's 3 spheres, or 3 bodies, connecting 3 ways. But it all moves through us. We are the happy medium, the conductor, the flow of the circuit, right? So, happy surprises, happy accidents. What comes to mind? Watch for them. Don't plan for them. Just watch for them in your life, in your day. Do you see how this can unfold for you to something better and bigger than what you even planned for? That's what we're being shown this year, this Age of Aquarius entry point, this Year of the Dragon, this year of quantum leaps and coming out of choosing sides and being the gap, the magic in the middle, where we are the flow. Okay? So, the unexpected. Spiritual evolutionary awakenings happen unexpectedly. You can't plan for them. And they're so much fun when you realize what's happening. So do your connecting, do your inner alignment, and your outer alignment, which I'll talk about next week. But yeah, for now, give me a follow. so that you get the notifications to show up next week in case you forget. But same day, same time, every Thursday, well, as many as I can, mostly every Thursday at 11:11 Pacific time. The replays are available on the page as well. I will be starting a group where we will go deeper in a more intimate circle way that you can join. The algorithms supposedly are just better in a group, so I'm going to start a group. I've had a group before, but I didn't know really how to do it or what I was doing. Now I know who I am and where I am and who you are, and I know you're out there, and I'd love to hear your stories. What's some happy awakenings that you've had? Love to hear about them. Okay. Yeah, I think that's good for now. So let me know. Mwah! Be well. Have a fabulous Thursday.